All right, welcome back to The Explainer. We're about to dive into an idea that is, well, it's kind of like finding a key to unlock reality itself. We're talking about a way to see beyond the story, beyond the interpretation of the world that our own mind is constantly creating for us.
Just let that sink in for a second. I mean, think about it. Our entire lives, from the moment we wake up, we're interpreting everything, right? We're slapping labels on things, judging them, fitting every little piece into our own personal story. But what if you could just skip all of that? Bypass that whole mental process and simply witness what's there.
So this isn't some fuzzy, mystical idea we're talking about here. Not at all. This is about a very, very specific kind of perception, a state of mind that ancient thinkers actually had a super precise and powerful term for. And that term is Yathābhūta-ñāṇadassana. Yeah, I know, it's a bit of a mouthful. But stick with me because what it describes is absolutely incredible. It's basically the mental equivalent of seeing the universe's source code. Seeing the raw data of reality before your mind gets its hands on it and processes it into a story.
So what's so cool about this is how these ancient pieces come together to form a concept that feels incredibly modern. To really get what it means, let's just break it down into its 4 parts.
Okay, so first up, you've got yatā. This means exactly as, like a perfect one-to-one match. Then comes bhūta, which means what has come to be, or what's already happened. After that, we have ñāṇa. That's the knowing part, the cognition of it. And finally, dassana, which is the direct witnessing, actually seeing it, so to speak. So you put it all together, and what do you get? A perfect alignment between your awareness and what is actually happening right here, right now.
All right, I know that's still a bit abstract. So let's try to bring it down to earth. I've got a few modern analogies that I think really help show what this idea of unfiltered perception looks like in a way we can all kind of wrap our heads around.
Okay, first analogy, the VR headset. Imagine, for your entire life, you've been wearing a super advanced pair of VR goggles, and you didn't even know it. This headset renders the world for you, and it puts these little digital labels on everything. Good, bad, mine, not mine. Well, Yathābhūta-ñāṇadassana is that moment you finally take the headset off. And for the very first time, you see the world as it is, without all those filters and labels. Just raw reality.
Or how about this one? Think about a digital camera. We're all used to seeing the finished product, right? The JPEG. It's been filtered, color-corrected, sharpened. Maybe it's ready for Instagram. But this state of mind we're talking about, it's like opening the camera's raw file. You're not seeing the polished, pretty picture. You are seeing the pure, unedited data, just the raw light information that hit the sensor. It's the truth of the image. Here's another way to look at it. A magic trick. When you're in the audience, it looks absolutely impossible, right? Pure magic. But then you get to go backstage, and suddenly you see it all. The hidden wires, the mirrors, the trapdoors, the whole mechanism. Once you see how the trick works, you're just not fooled by it anymore. You can still appreciate the show, but the illusion, it's lost its power over you.
And for the last one, let's talk about the map versus the territory. It's a classic. See, you can look at a map, point to a big blue area and say that's the ocean. You know it's the ocean. That's the map. That's the concept. But it is a totally different thing to actually be there, to walk into the surf and feel that shockingly cold water hit your skin. That is the territory. That's direct experience. You've gone from just knowing about something to actually knowing it.
So you might be thinking, okay, cool analogies, but so what? Why does seeing reality this way even matter? Well, this is where it gets really interesting, because according to these ancient texts, this kind of direct witnessing isn't the final destination. Nope, it's the first absolutely crucial step on a path that can completely change everything.
I love this quote because it just completely reframes the whole thing. This isn't about belief, it's not about faith, it's about precise confirmation. You're basically becoming a scientist of your own experience, moving into this realm of direct personal verification. You're confirming for yourself how reality actually works, just by paying attention.
And that act of confirmation, it sets off a kind of natural domino effect. It starts with seeing things as they really are. Temporary, always changing. When you really see that, a feeling of disenchantment can arise. The Pali word for this is nibbida. It's not a bad thing. It just means you start losing interest in chasing the same old illusions. And when that happens, the intense craving for those things, it just naturally starts to fade away. That's called viraga. And this whole process, this step-by-step unfolding, is what eventually leads to vimutti, a kind of ultimate freedom or release.
So when you boil it all down, it's pretty wild. We are all, right now, living inside a kind of virtual reality, a personalized render built by our own minds, second by second. This ancient idea we've been talking about, it's a map for how to see beyond that simulation, and it leaves us with one heck of a question. Are you ready to take off the headset?